Hey everybody. Today I want to teach you a little bit about pronominal verbs in the passé composé. So how do we use them? How does it work? Pronominal verbs, as you know, have an extra pronoun and it's called a reflexive pronoun. Je me, tu te, il se, elle se, on se, nous, vous, il se, elle se. Je me lave, tu te laves, il se lave, elle se lave, on se lave, nous lavons, vous lavez, il se lave, elle se lave. Je me dépêche, tu te dépêches, il se dépêche, elle se dépêche, on se dépêche, nous dépêchons, vous dépêchez, il se dépêche, elle se dépêche. Je m'habille, tu t'habilles, il s'habille, elle s'habille, on s'habille, nous nous habillons, vous habillez, il s'habille, elle s'habille. And finally, je m'appelle, tu t'appelles, il s'appelle, elle s'appelle, on s'appelle, nous nous appelons, vous vous appelez, il s'appelle, elle s'appelle. How do we use pronominal verbs in the passé composé? Well, the auxiliary verb is always être. Second, there's always an extra pronoun. Recall that when the auxiliary verb is être, there is agreement in number and gender. Agreement in number and gender is something that you do to the past participle, and it reflects the gender of either the noun or the personal pronoun. You only use it, usually, when the auxiliary is être. Second, there's always an extra pronoun, and that's the reflexive pronoun. Remember them? So let's take a quick step back. Remember how when we're conjugating verbs that weren't pronominal verbs, it looked like this. You had a personal pronoun, an auxiliary verb, and a past participle. And sometimes that auxiliary verb was être. So hang on a minute, which verbs take être? Well, we have a couple of mnemonic tools you could use. We have the maison d'être, way of memorizing them, and we have Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp. So, if it's a female, we add an E. That's how we show agreement in number and gender with a female. If it's more than one female, you add ES. More than one male, add an S. Lots of males, still just add an S. Lots of females, but at least one male, add an S. So, it can be 1 million women, but if there's one man, then you do not add an E. You do not treat it as if it's feminine. Okay, so let's look. Tu es sorti, we added an E because apparently we're talking about a female. Vous êtes resté, I guess we were talking about a female that we're formal with. Vous êtes resté, okay, apparently we're talking to more than one person and they're both feminine, so we add ES. Remember, vous is the one verb where we actually don't know how many people we're talking about. We only know from context. Elles sont entrées, well, we're talking about more than one person and they're both female, so we added an ES. Pronominal verbs work the same way, but they have an extra part. They have the reflexive pronoun. So just like in the present tense, you have an extra part. Here in the passé composé, you have an extra part, the reflexive pronoun. And because they take être, there is agreement in number and gender. Can you spot it here? What about here? But there is no agreement if they are followed by a body part. Elle s'est lavé le pied. She washed her foot, le pied. Vous vous êtes brossé les dents. That means teeth. You brushed your teeth. Elles se sont brossé les cheveux, hair. They brushed their hair. Yep. So let's look. Elles se sont lavées. Elles se sont lavé les mains. Elle s'est brossée. Elle s'est brossé les cheveux. Ils se sont lavés. Ils se sont lavé la figure. In each case, there is a possibility for agreement in number and gender, but as soon as we have a direct object, and that is a body part here, as soon as we have a body part, we do not have agreement in number and gender. So let's take a moment to compare. In number one, it's masculine is singular, so we don't add anything. Number 2, it's the same thing. Number 3, it doesn't take être, it takes avoir, so we wouldn't have agreement anyway. Number 4, it takes être, and we have agreement with feminine plural. Same thing with number 5. Number 6, well, it says elle, it should be feminine, but it takes avoir, so we have no agreement in number and gender. All right, so now I'm going to have you rewrite these present tense sentences in the passé composé. How did you do? I didn't do so well because I should have highlighted the I on Alice est partie. Okay, so it takes être, she's feminine, we added an I. Isabelle et Alice se sont dépêchées, they're feminine and they're plural, we add es. Hugo et Alice se sont peignés, it's plural, but one's a man, so all we did was add an S. Let's do a few more. Push pause while you do it. Nina a joué. Tonette et Cécile se sont lavé les cheveux. Ooh, we don't have agreement there. Why not? Because we have a direct object, which is a body part, les cheveux. What about Nina a joué up above? Why didn't we have agreement there? That's right, because that verb is avoir. Let's look at the last sentence. Hugo et Alice se douchent dans la salle de bain. Hugo et Alice se sont douchés dans la salle de bain. Well, it's a boy and a girl. It's true we're using être, but because one of them is a male, we just add an S. Let's try practicing in a slightly different way. And here I'm giving you the infinitives. Let's see if you can do it this way. Je me suis regardée, so I let you know I'm a female, so I add an I. Isabelle et Alice se sont préparées. It's feminine plural. It's two women. Hugo et Alice se sont brossés les dents. Well, doesn't matter how many people there are or whether they're feminine, because guess what? We have a body part afterward, a direct object, a body part, and that means we do not have agreement in number and gender. And that's the end. Thank you for watching.